so that we can make this accessible for everyone and for you to be able to refer to it later. If you'd like to access the meeting later, we do upload them to the Arch YouTube page. So if you miss it or there's some um, information that you would like to refer back to, then you can certainly do that. A special note that we are not admitting AI companions into meetings. We do record meetings for you, and as a matter of course, would like to have the opportunity to redact anything that we need to protect confidentiality. So today, in full transparency, I anticipate a brief meeting. We don't have a guest speaker. Lawmakers are out on break. But rather than disrupt the cadence of the meetings where we miss a meeting and then maybe we forget to come back in September, we decided to go ahead and offer this time for updates. I have a few from an Arch perspective, and then I'll open it up to anyone who has any. So to begin, um, the National Alliance to End Homelessness has asked the president and Congress to support a $700 million increase in fiscal year 25 for HUD's homeless assistance grants funding, which includes the COC funding that many of you all are familiar with, access, hear about, as well as the Emergency Solutions Grants Program. That's the ESG program. Again, I'm sure that you hear us talk quite a bit about that. This is a perfect time to let your lawmakers know just how important these funds are to our community. Your advocacy, let me go ahead and admit, hold on one moment, please. Your advocacy this year, people just calling in and lending their voices, actually resulted in nearly 200 members of Congress signing a letter urging their colleagues to support a $700 million increase. And the Senate's much more robust request came 2 weeks after. The National Alliance to End Homelessness Capitol Hill Day. So it shows that advocacy works. So please call your lawmakers in DC offices. I'm going to put in the chat right now the Capitol Hill switchboard number. There you go. It's super easy. You call, the switchboard will answer. They'll ask for your congressional district or where you live, and then they'll direct your phone call to your appropriate lawmakers. It's so important that we increase funding. I think that you hear us say all the time that we have the solutions, we just can't implement them because of lack of resources. So please leverage your voice, let them know that you'll be supporting with your votes those who are supporting increases in funding. A couple of other things. Let's see, we had home ARP funding. The first allocation, a large portion of it was recommended for allocation and passed through both our city and parish councils. And thank you to the folks at LCG who worked so hard to advocate for us. And also congratulations to both the individual agencies as well as the entire continuum of care, because we're all going to benefit from that influx of resource. Arch in particular was granted funding to stand up a housing support services center, which we've been doing to a limited extent as we could, but now we can formalize it and really begin that pilot project. And so there'll be more information in the coming months around that. We want to make sure everybody is completely up to date on what we're offering and finding out from you all how we can best collaborate on those efforts. From the NOFO perspective, it is NOFO season. So congratulations to those of you who are celebrating. We are in the midst of preparation. So if you go to archacadiana.org/COC, that's the site on your slide in front of you, and you scroll down to the bottom, you can keep up with the process. So whether you're an applicant or an interested community member, or perhaps you're interested in applying in upcoming years. I want to let you know that COC membership, you must be a member in good standing of the COC for 1 full year prior to application. So it's something you're going to want to think ahead about. So if you think that there's even of course, we want you as a member of the COC, right? We want as many voices in that room as possible. But if you are looking down the road and you think, man, in a couple years, I think we would be ready to access some federal funding, then go ahead and become a member of the COC, because again, you need to be a member in good standing for 1 year prior to applying for COC funds that come from HUD. So that NOFO, we had a meeting yesterday with those who were interested in applying, either for a new project or a renewal. And letters of intent, again, are due by August 27th. But again, if you go to archacadiana.org/COC, you can see it's really easy to find. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and there are a bunch of PDFs, one of which is a timeline. So you can go ahead and get that timeline on your calendar, print it out, stick it on your tack board, and please follow along, because there's a couple opportunities also for those who aren't applying to read over our drafts, to give us feedback. If down the road you think you might want to be somebody who sits on our allocations committee, please reach out to Arch. There's always a way to plug into this process. Let's see. The next thing is ShareHouse. You may have seen online, we've been getting a number of outside of hours drop-offs. We cannot take drop-offs during non-donation hours. The donation hours are Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 10 to 3, and then by appointment. If you reach out to Rachel, who is our ShareHouse director, that's rachel@archacadiana.org. Outside of that, people can't just leave their stuff outside in the hopes that we pick it up. We're not able to then say, look, we don't need those things, or we don't take those things, or those things are stained or not in a state that we can accept that donation. But also it might rain that evening, and then at that point we have to throw that stuff immediately away. So recently you may have seen that we had a drop off of 2 mattresses that were actually infested with bed bugs, the likes of which I've never seen, and I've seen some stuff. And it meant that Arch had to pay for the disposal of those 2 mattresses. And there was no way that the individuals who dropped them off didn't know that they were infested. And there was conversation that our cameras picked up around making sure that they weren't picked up on the camera. So we're going to be increasing our signage. We've spoken to law enforcement about ways that we can enforce those donation hours more. But if you can just do what you can to encourage your donors, maybe you're directing donations to ShareHouse either as an individual or as an organization, just remind them that we can only accept those donations Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays from 10 to 3. Right now, the ShareHouse needs mattresses and box springs. We have quite a few of one, but not the other. So basically, we're asking for an all call for mattresses and box springs. We're also short on full and queen size sheets and beddings. So if you're looking to get some new ones and you have some that are in a shape that you're willing to donate, or maybe your organization has gotten some and you can't really use all of it, please direct that donation to the ShareHouse. Again, that's full and queen sheets and bedding. And then we are taking small appliances. So coffee makers, and they have to work, right? Coffee makers, microwaves, small appliances. And we're doing that. That's sort of we're dipping our toe into that water. That's not something that we've done in the past, but it is something that our clients are requesting. And we want to make sure that we're setting them up for success insofar as them staying healthy. So making sure that they are able to eat at home, and also that things are cost effective. So, it's, as we know, less expensive to make your coffee in your home than purchasing it. So again, that's ShareHouse. Lastly, well, not lastly, but we're getting near the end. Know-it-alls is tonight. We have an event tonight at Vermilionville at 6:30. It is a Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader-esque event where we have 4 Lafayette famous folks who are going to be answering trivia questions. uh, and with the help of four fifth graders from across Lafayette Parish. And we're really excited about it. There are tickets available at the door, so you can walk up. Vermilionville will be serving their excellent jambalaya and bread pudding and iced tea. And then, of course, the bar will be open as well. And so come have a good time. Our goal is to be concluded by 9 o'clock. And that way, if you have kids and you want to bring them, because it is a family friendly event, there's an opportunity for them to get home and get to bed before they go to school tomorrow, or if you have an early work day. Um, let's see. A couple of things are coming up that you'll hear about, but just kind of keep it on your radar. Maybe keep an eye out for our e-blasts. We've got State of Homelessness, our second year that we'll be doing the State of Homelessness address to share data points, to talk about where we are as a community. Also, Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week it will be coming up sooner than we'd like to think. And we will be doing another Pachakcha. So if you came last year, or if you would like to participate and be a presenter, let me know about that. Or if you just have more questions, keep your eye out. We'll be doing an all call via eBlast. I wanted to share the Department of Energy has a number of opportunities, funding opportunities that I wanted to share because I want to make sure that we don't leave things on the table, opportunities on the table for our community simply because we don't know about them, or maybe we need a little bit of time to collaborate with one another so that we can co-apply to funding opportunities. So the first is the Weatherization Assistance Program Enhancement and Innovation Grant. That's catchy. This will expand the Department of Energy's existing residential weatherization programs by utilizing leveraged resources and enhancing community partnerships to perform deep energy retrofits of low-income residential buildings, and also empowering local community representation within the energy workforce. And we know here in Louisiana, the heat, our other weather-related issues, and how it intersects with low-income housing that has perhaps fallen into disrepair or not been able to do the upgrades that are necessary for weatherization. This is an excellent opportunity. There's a total of $36 million available with an anticipated award amount up to $2 million. The deadline, as you can see on your screen, is September 27th. And so it is coming up. I am going to drop the link right now in the chat. Again, you'll get all of this in a different method, but if you just want to go ahead and open some tabs, I am dropping that first one right now. Paste. Okay, the second opportunity is the Department of Energy voucher program, which lowers barriers for small businesses, non-traditional partners, and other organizations from underrepresented communities that may not have the in-house resources or funds needed to commercialize their technology. Submissions to all 7 voucher opportunities from potential in-kind support recipients. So that includes small businesses, manufacturers, local and tribal governments, and more, are open until Thursday, September 12th. So that's actually the first of the 3 deadlines that's upcoming. But go ahead and take a look at it and see if that would be an opportunity for your organization. Copy again. Here is that link. And then finally, the Good Jobs in Clean Energy Prize is a multi-million-dollar opportunity designed to encourage place-based coalition building communities across the country that focus on creating quality jobs and fostering an equitable and inclusive workforce in clean energy sectors. So any place-based coalition consisting of partnerships with at least one organization from each of the 5 stakeholder groups, which you can see on the list, will have a chance to win part of the 3.4 essentially $1 million prize pool to help them develop plans. And so community-based organizations, public agencies, education providers, workforce providers are all being encouraged to apply. This is a longer runway before the deadline. The submissions are not due until the end of January. So even though right off the bat, this may not sound like something that applies directly to the housing and homelessness space, you may be able to get a coalition together that fits this Good Jobs and Clean Energy Prize. So here is that link. And then lastly, I wanted to share the Developers of Color Summit. It's being held on September 20th in Metairie. They're asking for housing developers, financial institutions and funders, urban planners, community organizers, policymakers, nonprofit organizations, and advocates for equity to join HUD and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency for discussion around networking to support developers of color on their journey to success. Bankers will also have the opportunity and the occasion to network and exchange best practices. So really, I think it's a great opportunity, even though this is not hyperlinked because it's on your screen. I am going to drop that registration right now in the chat. And I know a bunch of you on this call qualify. So please take advantage of this opportunity. I see the question about homelessness, hunger and homelessness awareness week. It is, one second, it is at the end of November, and I don't know the dates right off the top of my head, but it is a national holiday. So you can go ahead and Google it, but it's a week that's set aside in November. And we observe that through last year. We did a share house drive, a neighborhood specific share house drive. We took the share house van on the road, and we'll be doing that again, I believe. And then also the Pachakcha focused on what is home, which was last year. This year there'll be a different theme. And again, if you need more information about any of this, the direct link prior to the e-blast going out, please shoot me an email at elsa@archacadiana.org. I think all of you have my email or my phone number, so please don't hesitate. I just want to make sure that this information gets into the hands of those that can do the most exciting things with it. So I'm now going to open it up to those. Second. Oh, you are right about, thank you so much about the links. I have been dropping them, but sending them to only one person specifically. So give me 1 second, copy link. Here's the voucher program. And the third and fourth ones, which are the Good Job Prize and also the Developers of Color Summit. Paste. There you go. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. So I want to open it up now to any agency and community updates and just some prompts as you think about whether you have any updates or whether you immediately say, oh, I don't have any updates. You might. So think about this. Are you starting any new programs or hosting any events that you want to get the word out about, or you need support around? Did you attend any trainings or know of any advocacy opportunities or trainings that are upcoming? Do you have any vacancies on your staff or your board that you would like to let people know about? Or are there any other challenges that might benefit from some community sourcing? Do you have any questions that you think you might want to just put out to a group of experts and people who've been doing this for a minute? So just go ahead and you can take yourself off on mute, or you can drop it in the chat.
Hi, this is Colleen with Catholic Charities of Acadiana. I would like to update everyone. We are very, very excited to say that we are back on St. John campus. Yay. Things are going great. We moved back August 7th. So it's been wonderful to be back home. We have reduced capacity. I'm I think we've given that update before. So we're only at 60 on this campus. We are running our day center um, through the shelter, Stella Maris, and that is from 8 to 4. And we're doing showers and laundry, or people can just hang out during those times. We are also still doing our cooling center through St. Joseph's Diner from first thing in the morning, like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We have had some issues with security. The sheriff's department has been unable to fill certain shifts. We've reached out to the police department and gotten them to help us out with some of those, but there are some shifts that have not been able to be filled, so we may be having to make adjustments to our times or how we serve. So that's unfortunate, but otherwise, I think that
Colleen, you muted yourself, but there is a question in the chat around the day center and how do clients qualify?
oh, so sorry. I did accidentally mute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yep, yep.
Okay. So what they need to do, if people want to come to the day center, they just show up and we search them before they come in to make sure that they don't have any, drugs or weapons, just like we do everyone else. And we give out armbands, so they would just get a different one that has like a smiley face on it so that we know that they've been checked in. And they would come in and just hang out in the community room. They can go outside in the back area. They can take their showers. They can just sit and watch TV if that's all they want to do. I did want to mention that the process for getting into the shelter now is through the Segura Center. You go there and you speak to our outreach worker, Matthew, and of course, he'll try to divert you first or, see what else we can do for you. And then shelter would be, available if that is a need. So that's kind of like our front door at the moment. For shelter services, after hours, it would be directly at the shelter if there's space available.
Perfect, thank you. And I just want
Mhm.
to share that I volunteered at the diner a couple weeks ago, and I just want to let people know that you can get there. We got there at 4:30 for a 4:30 to 6 shift, so didn't miss much work. And it's 90 minutes, and you're in and out, but it's so gratifying. And since Catholic Charities is so graciously acting as a cooling shelter, if you are able to get on their website and just sign up for a shift, I know that they would appreciate that.
We would. Thank you very much.
Of course. I've got a couple things in the chat, so let me do that and then I'll kick it back out again. I see that Faith House is hiring for educational coordinator in the schools and a volunteer donations coordinator. You can apply on Indeed. I also saw that Acadiana Cares is hiring a part-time cook for the residential programs on campus. You also can apply on Indeed. There's a domestic violence support group for Faith House will be starting in Acadia Parish on Wednesday, starting September 4th. And you can contact Victoria for more information and to register for attendance. That number is also in the chat. Andy shared the address to the day center, 425 St. John Street. I did want to share an update. It'll be very truncated, but uh, with regard to the Himbola apartments, currently the property owners are required to fast track repairs to the units that were identified as needing repair. From what I understand, every unit failed the inspection, but some would need to be vacated in order to be repaired. But the property manager said that there are a number of unoccupied units that the people who need to vacate their units temporarily while they're being improved and repaired can live in before they move back in. So that doesn't seem to be causing a displacement currently, but we're keeping a close eye on it. And by I mean the continuum of care, as well as LCG and other housing stakeholders in the community. And the requirement is not only internal um, unit by unit repairs, but also some holistic inspection and work that needs to be done on the roof as a whole, and some foundation work. So there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done over there. But I am cautiously optimistic that the general public is aware of what's been going on. Many of us have known the situation for years, that HUD has stepped in, and that there's some oversight going on in those apartments. I also want to thank the current for keeping us particularly apprised step by step, and doing the work that they do as investigative journalists, to keep us accountable, and to keep us as the general public apprised of what's going on. Um, let's see. Are there any other updates? I see that there's a flyer. I'm going to see what I can do about opening that up without. There's a lot going on my computer right now. Let's see, desktop.
Hey, this is Nikki with Region 4's Office of
Thank
Public
you.
Health.
Yeah.
And we were just sharing that there's a 2-day training that's coming up in September, the 9th and 10th. And then there's also, you can elect to do like a half a day program. And it's emergency management for access and functional needs, disability awareness training. And also just the grab and go bag toolkit because of the season, in case anybody needs that.
Perfect. And I will include that PDF in an e-blast, Nikki. Thank you so much. But if you're in the chat, if you're on a desktop and you're able to download that PDF, go ahead and scroll up to Nikki's PDF and download that. Are there any other updates for any agencies that would like to share, or individuals? Oh, thank you, Jenny. So Himbola Management is expected to appear before the Administrative Adjudication Bureau on August 28th. The AAB is the legal enforcement arm for the compliance division that ensures compliance. So thank you for that additional information. Again, we're going to be watching. I'm curious if there will be a sale as a result of these findings of that property. So we do need to keep an eye on that sort of movement. Anybody else have any other updates they'd like to share? Okay, well, I appreciate you all. Like I said, I anticipated that this was going to be a brief meeting, but I think that we shared some really important information. If you need anything before our next meeting, if I don't see you in various other meetings, please reach out, elsa@archacadiana.org. I can help get you connected to the right resource, hopefully, or at least I will try. And again, if you just don't want to cook tonight and you want some entertainment, come on out to Vermilionville at 6:30 for know-it-alls. I suspect it's going to be hilarious. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in September.